All right, thank you very much for having me. I think I should go to SCG. Greatest Nigerian student. All right, okay, so I look like a student too, right? Yeah, okay, so I think we should be able to flow and. Okay, though, as Tosin said, I actually didn't prepare for this session too. But then we just have to do it, and I trust that, like him, I wouldn't disappoint you all and the organizers. Okay, all right. Okay, so it's just going to be like a conversation around the media and civic. Okay, so, to begin with, I want us to like cast our mind, refresh ourselves with what each word stands for. Media, as we all know, is a channel of communication, whereby you share information basically between a sender and a receiver, yeah? And civic has to do with belonging to a community, like you being a community member, like a citizen of a country. Okay, I'm bringing the two together, talk about civic media, and that is how media has been able to amplify or facilitate civic engagement. And if there's any time that civic engagement and citizens, taking responsibility in terms of their civic duties, this is the time, and with the advent of media, especially social media, as at 1995, statistic has it that only 1% of the global population was online, like had an online presence. But as at 2021, according to Statista, okay, we have about 59.5% of the global population currently online. And out of these, we have 80%, like more than 80% of youth, being online. And much more, youth have been, much more involved in the civic world, like in performing their civic responsibilities. Even let's cast our mind back. And basically, civic responsibility is, what you do to foster the development of your nation, to lend your voice and ensure that you are a part of the democratic process that leads to the building of a desirable nation. Usually we all say, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is not good, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. But if you ask an average youth, an average youth wants to jackpot, right? So if every youth in Nigeria should like jackpot, so who would be here to build the Nigeria we want to see? Anyway, I'm not discouraging you from, jackpotting, all right? But whatever the case is, even when you are there as, an African in diaspora, just be sure that you are supporting the work that is being done by those who choose to pay the sacrifice to stay here and do the work. Okay? So don't go there and start living like, you don't care about any other person, like you're living large, like it doesn't concern you. You still have a responsibility to your fatherland. You have a responsibility to building Nigeria. Okay? All right, so media, as it were, has been able. I see media as an amplifier. Because most of us in the civic space, one major thing, like personally, I regard myself as a social advocate for rural development. I advocate rural development because these people, we take a lot from them. It's like we extort them, but then, even in governance, attention is given towards urban development. Nobody is talking about these people. Over 80% of the extreme poor in Africa live in rural communities. What are we doing about these people? Some of these guys are trapped in extreme poverty, like generational poverty. They give birth, the next generation, like by default, is programmed to work in poverty. That one also give birth, the next generation by default. But if there's no game changer, if there's no trend breaker, then how do we change this narrative? And much more, media is an amplifier. It amplifies your voice as a stakeholder in the civic space. If there is no media, sometimes I tell myself, really, without media, even you become as voiceless as the voiceless people you are trying to give a voice to, because nobody would hear you anywhere. And if we cast our minds back from BBOG, like Bring Back Our Girls, how many of us participated in Bring Back Our Girls? Bring Back Our Girls. To Black Lives Matters, even though we are not in the US, but some of us will join the Twitter trend from here, like our people are dying, our people are being killed, and Black Lives Matter, and even the recent one, NSAS. Thank God for social media. This NSAS really showed us much more what social media, how that one social media can actually be used to call the attention of stakeholders, like exact pressure on target, exact pressure, and also empower the seemingly marginalized amongst us. And if not for social media, some of the events that happened at Lekki Tollgate it would have been covered up. That was the intention. But that couldn't work because of the media. So much more, there is a strong nexus, between the media and the civic space. And if there is any time to harness that, I said, we all have a responsibility towards nation building. We all might have different things we are passionate about. For me, being in the civic space is more of a combination of purpose, passion, and profession. Okay? Purpose in the sense that even right from a tender age, I grew up in Lagos, yeah? And my grandparents, back then, Ikorodu was a very, very rural area. Till now, it's still developing actually, but then we had villages. Okay, some aspects, some area, still developing. But then we have, quite a number of the villages there. So my grandma used to stay in the village with some of my other uncles and all of that. So I was the only one out of my parents' children who would want to go to the village for holidays. Like, I really didn't understand, what God was trying to expose me to, because in the nearest future, I was going to be a stakeholder in the development of those communities. I would go there, I would just want to go for holidays and all of that. And I'm purpose still, because at the point of entrance into the university, there was a tug of war in my family. Being this brilliant child and all of that, your dad wants you to study medicine, and at that then, I was even thinking accounting, but then he was like, no, medicine. I'm like, okay, if that's what you want. But as fate would have it, even University of Ibadan did not even give me medicine. So I felt like, okay, so what's going to happen now? So I had the opportunity of changing my course, and I chose agriculture. And when it was time to specialize, I went for agricultural extension and rural development. It was like something kept pushing me, and much more. After, as time went on, it dawned on me what my purpose really is and what I should really spend my life doing, and being a voice for these people and seeing to it that these guys get the necessary attention and empowerment, to make for sustained living and optimized potentials. Okay, and when I say passion, really trust me, I'm ready to go all out to, I think I also trade that mentorship part, sir. So our mentor, JD, sir, said that there must be something you're willing to die for. Trust me, I go all the way to communities. Now I stay in, for now, most of the communities we work in is in Oyo State, though we've done some work in Osun State, but then most Oyo State. We go as far from Ibadan, go as far as Ibarapa East, Orire North local government, Atiba local government. We do a lot, and we practically have had to go to villages that I knew nobody, and I had to stay like 1 week. And it's just about an understanding of what you meant to live for and what you meant to be doing. And as I said, the media is actually a potent tool. If used and harnessed effectively, trust me, there is no end to what we can achieve, even in playing our duties as citizens of Nigeria. Thank you very much.